Chapter 565. Let me repeat myself. Listen carefully. For a while now, Gail and Doyle have been meeting with Hosanna once a day. Initially, they didn't spend much time together, but their meetings have been getting longer. Kana, who had been observing Yudi's complexion, sighed and continued the conversation. He has also been eating more, and thanks to the dedicated treatment from the medical division, his physical condition has improved significantly. Just last night, Hosanna even asked me how I was doing when he heard that I was unwell and staying in the medical ward. Kana had bled profusely due to the backlash from overusing her powers during a mission and had been receiving medical treatment. Fortunately, her recovery was swift and she had been resuming her daily life since yesterday. So, what did you say? I told him I was much better. While I was talking, I also read what he knows about the sage and his surroundings. You used your abilities right after recovering? At the icy question, Kana defiantly lifted her chin and shook her head. Of course, I didn't overexert myself. Do you think I am like you either? ... Why did the memory of Anon grumbling, it's because of people like you that we get more patients overexerting themselves and pulling his cheek suddenly surface. Either had nothing to say and just exhaled a short sigh. Anyway, it seems like Hosanna has been more open lately. I can read his thoughts more easily now. I think I have learned quite a lot. It felt more like Kana's abilities had taken a significant leap than Hosanna becoming more open. Kana likely knew this too, but chose to not explicitly say so, showing a degree of humility. Hosanna personally thinks highly of the sage. He views him as an extremely virtuous and trustworthy benefactor. But recently, he seemed anxious about something related to the sage. Maybe it has something to do with Nahan. It was strange that Hosanna, being so close to Nahan, would think so highly of the sage. Was their discord a recent development? Actually, I found this odd. Hosanna would do anything for Nahan, even knowing that Nahan is acting unusually towards the sage. I didn't sense much doubt from him. He has mental barriers towards people who follow the sage but dislike Nahan, but no such barriers exist towards the sage. Do you get what I'm saying either? Either slowly nodded his head. I think I understand. Good. So, I have also read Gail and Doyle with a focus on their knowledge about the sage and found something odd. Kana's eyes sparkled with confidence. It seems Gail and Doyle have harbored suspicions about the sage who hasn't come to rescue them even though they are alive. But still, they genuinely believe the sage is a good person and can be trusted absolutely. They consider this normal, but it really isn't. I have never encountered this with anyone else. So, my conclusion is that you think the sage's abilities are related to this phenomenon? Exactly. Kana beamed with a satisfying smile at Yidar, who had instantly reached to the right conclusion. If such a strange occurrence only happens around these individuals, it can't be a coincidence. I'd feel even more certain if I could read those awakeners from the Star of Nagran in the West again. But even with what I have, it's enough. I'm convinced the sage must be a mental awakener, and moreover, someone who can naturally alter people's thoughts and feelings. Excellent, Yidar said, offering her an unreserved compliment. It even aligns with some new information I have recently discovered about the sage. Really? You already knew about this, Yidar? It's not so much that I knew. Yidar chose not to mention that the information had come from Anon, but he did share what he knew about a man named Karl Enfile, suspected to be the sage. Kana showed keen interest upon hearing this. If he's really the sage, then it means he left his hometown, returned, and deliberately obscured people's perception of him. Given that the sage recently appeared in the capital, it might not have been long since people forgot about Karl Enfile. It was a valid point. Thanks to her ability to read information, Kana had better instantaneous insights than anyone else. Yudhir thought it was a good decision to inform her about the Star of Nagran and the sage as soon as the Imperial Palace mission had ended. It's something worth checking out. Shall I take a look? It doesn't seem that difficult. Don't overexert yourself. It's really not a big deal. I just need to see if the same mental gaps I sense from Hosanna, Gale, and Doyle are present in those related to Carl and File. Kana paused, a sly smile curving her lips. It was a look that made one think of Hen and Fen. Remember, I was in the house of Count Gallen before joining the cavalry? Well, Count Gallen was a second rank officer in the palace, specifically in charge of the Imperial Library and Archives. Technically, he would be her father, but neither Kana or Yidr considered him to be such. Lately, after the party, the Gallan household has been annoyingly persistent in contacting me. So, I was thinking this could be a good opportunity to find out more about Carl and File, who managed the documents in the Blue Crown. If the lower officials of the Blue Crown were in charge of the documents, then by extension, they were under the Empire. That meant they would have been under Count Gallen, who managed the Royal Library and Archives. An unexpected link, but Yidr shook his head. There is no need to go out of your way to contact them for this, Kana. I wasn't planning to. They have been a nuisance, trying to form a connection with me ever since the party. I was going to give them a piece of my mind anyway. If I use them for this, wouldn't Count Gallen be of some help to me? Kana seemed quite pleased with her idea. Her stronger, resilient demeanor contrasted sharply with the woman who had once confessed to still expressing nightmares from her days in the Gallen household. In the end, Yidr agreed to her plan. But you mustn't act alone. Either I, Gakane, Hin, or Fen must accompany you. Don't worry about a thing, Yidr. Just wait for the news I'll bring. Kana concluded confidently, but then softened her eyebrows. By the way, why did you seem so out of it earlier? The shift in the conversation brought Yidr back to the thoughts of Keshir from the day before, plunging him into a dark mental space. Noticing the quick change in Yidr's expression, Kana looked as if she suddenly had a hunch about something. What did you say? The words were stretched so peculiarly that it was hard to understand at once. Oh, never mind if you don't get it. I went to see the commander earlier to report my return to the duty today. He looked kind of tired, like you. Everyone must be tired today. dot dot dot. Dot dot dot. Keshir's face, which had looked tired since yesterday, flickered in Yudhir's inner eyelids. Had he dreamed that dream again? Was that why he looked so exhausted? As if her heart had frozen, Kana exhaled while watching Yidr, a look of concern in her eyes. Yidr, if you are really struggling with something serious, you don't have to tell me. But you know that I'm always on your side, just like I said before, right? Yidr looked at the face of his friend who was cautiously trying to console him during that time when he couldn't even focus in the West due to issues related to Keshir. Kana had been his comfort. Kana's abilities were developing at an unprecedented rate. Her information reading had gone beyond merely perceiving someone's past actions and could now quickly deduce the most likely scenarios that would soon unfold. If not for her ability, they wouldn't have caught the rats that had infiltrated the palace so quickly, and the doors would have been easily breached by surprise attacks. As Yidr had thought when he first discovered her abilities, Kana might soon be able to foresee even the distant future, not just the past and the present. When that day comes, the secrets about Yidr Aile's future would also be revealed. In fact, she did say she had read something from me that time too. However, Kana hadn't elaborated on it. Yidr thought it was time to know about it, something he had considered should eventually be addressed. Kana? Yes? Can I ask you something? Ask away. I want to know what you read from me before. ... Kana looked as if she wanted to smack her own mouth, which had just said, ask away. Either the thing is, do we really have to discuss it right now? I appreciate your concern, but I'm fine. Just tell me. Uh, I want to know what you know. No, I have to know. As Kana wrestled with the dilemma, she looked up as if something had struck her. Together, her bright blue eyes felt like mirrors that could not hide anything. Either, do you think I might have seen something about you that I absolutely shouldn't have? Is that what you are so worried about right now?